Queen's speech is the Local Growth and Jobs Bill, which is intended to localise business rates. But councils fear the government's approach in doing that will be unfair. And since ministers have given no indication about how they intend to go about achieving that, we can only use past behaviour as a guide, and that is very worrying indeed. The government's council funding cuts clobbered the poorest 10 councils with cuts 23 times bigger than the 10 richest. And this year's £300 million Cuts Relief Fund was gerrymandered to ease the pain in Tory voting areas that had suffered the least, while offering nothing to areas that had suffered the most. It's no wonder that the National Audit Office is today investigating that perverse decision. Now, if business rates localisation is gerrymandered in the same way, it will stifle growth in those parts of the country that need growth the most, creating more poverty, more fear, more insecurity and more alienation. All of this is part of the government's ongoing refusal to challenge inequalities of power and wealth right across society. The social contract that underpinned our society has been shattered. It was a promise that if you work hard, you'll get on, and if you can't work, you'll be looked after. But today, even if you work hard, you might not be able to pay the bills or put a secure roof over your family's head. And if you can't work, you risk being thrown to the wolves. There are parts of my constituency in Croydon North where too many people feel left behind because work is insecure and incomes don't cover the basic household bills. Globalisation is certainly creating great innovation, wealth and opportunity, but it is being allowed to leave too many people and their communities behind. It's sharpening inequality, moving populations on an unprecedented scale, threatening the environment and stoking political and religious fundamentalism. Alongside strengthening regulation at the centre, devolution should be being used to put real power into people's hands to challenge the blatant unfairness of the system and to build communities' capacity to manage these great changes on their own terms. Just across the river from this Parliament stands a newly built tower full of luxury apartments kept empty by foreign investors, while on the streets below there is a housing crisis. What a powerful symbol of just how far we've gone wrong. Anger is rising across the industrialised world. If people don't have faith that a system is working fairly for them, they will kick back against that system. When your legitimate concerns do not get heard by the political mainstream, they push towards the margins. As my honourable friend said earlier in this debate, politics is polarising in a dangerous way. People are angry about a political system that's failing them, about elites that are exploiting them, about wealth and opportunity that is bypassing them. But instead of addressing all this, the government is fuelling forces that are pushing inequality to breaking point, and the consequences of that will be as dangerous as they are unpredictable.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. In the most gracious speech, Her Majesty spoke of the government's intention to support the Northern Powerhouse. I welcome support for the regions and the regeneration of local economies across the country, but particularly the importance of manufacturing in that